Alright guys, what is going down and welcome to another video. I just want to say first of all, I really appreciate you guys' feedback and responses on the last couple of videos. It's cool to see that these vids have hit home with a couple of you guys, and well, a bit more than a couple of you guys, but it feels good, man, because I like operating from this place. I've got a lot of ideas in here, things I want to talk about and just keep talking about, and I'll tell you now, I'll never talk about something that I haven't been through. So anything that you hear in terms of me talking about or giving a lesson on, I'll never give a fucking lesson on something that I've never been through or I don't know anything about. But there's a lot of shit that I have been through, and tonight I want to talk about one of those, and that is the idea, which might seem a bit foreign to some of you guys, might seem a little bit crazy even, and that's this idea of just getting delusional in your head. So what do I mean by that? When you're in the lowest of states and you're dreaming of something better for yourself, what is the best thing you can do? And I'll tell you, it gets harder and harder to do as you get older, because this feeling of this voice in your head, man, it starts to just seep in, like into your skin and shit. It's happening to me as I get older, man. It's a fucking scary thing, and that's this voice of, hey, be a bit more reasonable. I don't know, that's not as reasonable. Guys, when I came on the scene doing this online shit, like 7 years ago or whatever it was now, this was new territory. This wasn't even a thing. It was crazy. I was strange. My friends were saying, what the fuck are you doing? And now it's like my whole business and livelihood is a career in this field of what is now normal. And that's because being reasonable was never a fucking option, man. And sometimes the best achievements that you're gonna ever have in your life is when you learn to get a little bit delusional up here and tell that voice of being reasonable to shut the fuck up and to just sit down. And I fucking mean that, because that voice starts to creep up, especially as you get older. I was just saying, it's starting to get a little bit louder in my ears, and fuck that shit, you know what I'm saying? I want to talk to you guys about my journey last year. I went from a spot of being just completely out of shape, training, 3 times a week to just try and maintain what I had. I did this like bulk for a couple of months where I started eating a bit more food, training in the gym, put on a bit more size from what I was at the start of last year. But I was in the spot of like, I didn't look anything like I knew I could, and I was so far away from how I wanted to not only look but feel. Just the whole thing of being in shape is not to look a certain way, it's to feel capable, it's to feel proud and accomplished, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't have that, and I said, okay, what is gonna make me get back into the shape like I used to get into, that I haven't been able to get in for years now? What's gonna do that? And it took me to say, you know what, I'm gonna get delusional. I'm gonna do a bodybuilding competition in 8.5 weeks. Normally for where my body was at, you would want at least a 16-week prep. I said in 8.5 weeks, I'm gonna step on a bodybuilding stage. Everyone that I knew, especially people I knew, people in the comments I didn't even know, people said, you're delusional, there's no way in hell. I'm pretty sure so many people tuned into that series I did last year to watch me fail, to say, hey, look, this is actually so funny, he thinks he's gonna do a comp, this is ridiculous, this is delusional. And you know what, I fucking did it. Do you know why? Because I was delusional. And when you're willing to back up a delusion, a delusional thought, something more grandiose, something that just seems a bit fucking ridiculous, if you're willing to back that up with hard work, you're unstoppable, man. You will get there. There's nothing wrong with being delusional. Sometimes that's what it fucking takes, man. You know, it's funny, we treat this voice of being reasonable in our head with some kind of respect, like it deserves it, like it's right, like it makes sense. Man, being reasonable, that's gonna fuck you up. When you can get delusional and then, like I said, have the hard work to back it up and the smarts behind it as well. I'm not going into doing my comp last year from being completely out of shape to, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna step on stage, and then not willing to do the hour of cardio every single day, start the strict diet that I needed to do for the time frame I had. If you can actually have that delusion and then back that up with hard work and a tactical plan of what you're gonna do each day, how you're gonna get there, nothing is even out of reach, man. I really feel like this is a needed video for a lot of people, because I can relate to this so hard, this voice of reason coming up, man. As I get older, it's coming up in my ear, and sometimes it can be pretty damn hard not to listen to that shit. But as soon as you start being reasonable, the voice actually gets louder and it starts to take over more. And what, you're gonna get more and more reasonable, and then all of a sudden you're living this frail fucking life of just accepting, like we talked about in the last video, your state, your default state, your tolerances, what you can tolerate. Fuck that. What do you want? What do you seriously want? Because when we're young, man, it's sad, like our parents will bring us into this world and it's all like, hey, you can be whatever you want when you grow up, kid. As soon as I started saying, hey, you know, this is what I'm doing online, I'm doing a clothing brand and I'm doing all this shit. What's the first thing my parents say to me? Oh, you know, it's a fad, it's not gonna last, or no, don't do that, maybe get a job on the side, and all this fucking shit. And like, there's enough other people telling you to fucking be reasonable, so why should you tell yourself that? Fuck that, man. It's just gonna be a compounding, that's what most people get in life. They get this compounding effect of fucking this reasonable shit, and it's just bullshit, man. So, and there's so many examples of people who have said fuck reasonable. Look at people who have made a fucking impact. Who do you look up to? Are they reasonable? I bet they're fucking not. And there's no reason that you can't be either. And that's some motherfucking facts. So I hope you can take something from this video and you can stop listening to this shitty little voice that starts to get a bit louder as you get older, because I know how it feels in it. There's no place for that shit, man. If you want to live the life of your dreams, if you want to make things better for yourself, even just to make things a little bit better, and I'll tell you, having that delusion, that's the best motivator. That's what pulls you, because it seems so attractive, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing attractive about just settling for some shit. So on that note, I'm gonna end the vid, but I really seriously hope you can take something from this tonight. And as always, appreciate your guys' support, and let me know as well in the comments below if you've been able to take something good from this, or if you've had an experience or something where you've kind of used this yourself and you've achieved some good shit. So like I always say, man, greatness is inside all of us, and we all have the power to be great. Sometimes we've just got to tap into it. Sometimes we've just got shit that's blocking us. But any blocks, man, we've got the power to push that shit away. So get delusional up here, have that hard working attitude, be smart about it, and fucking go for it.